Ladies, gentlemen, and Nightfarers of all ages, Nightreign can be a very tough game, but it can also be made much easier through various mechanics. And one of the main overarching permanent progression systems in the game are relics and the Relic Rite system. So today we're going to talk about relics. We will go over some of the generally best relic options, especially the ones that have set sources rather than the random rolls. We'll also talk about the best ways to get more good relics, the places that these sort of set relics come from, and how to get the most out of rolling for random relics as well, and a sort of small touch on the vessels as part of the system too. But first, why do these relics actually matter? When you first start to get them, the relics are pretty sad and feel quite meaningless overall. +1 to an attribute, improved school of sorcery that you might never actually plan on using, maybe a single lightning grease in your inventory at the start of an expedition, and that's all it'll do. But these grow to be an extremely important source of permanent power that increases between each expedition. A lot of the relics that you will see in this game are fully randomized from a massive pool, and they will roll with anywhere from 1 to 3 passive effects, which have varying levels of strength as well. You will get these randomly rolled relics at the end of any expedition, with more relics dropping from a more successful run, the maximum amount dropping from a full Night Lord completion. This is also how you get the most merc per expedition, and merc is the currency that you use at the Jar Bazaar vendor. This vendor sells you a collection of specific set effect relics, with some of the ones that he starts with being quite decent. He unlocks more and more as you continue to progress the game though, with the first big wave of powerful additions to his stock being once you have defeated 4 Night Lords, where he adds in some pretty strong relics with specific effects for each character. Then he also gets the really big one, which is when you've defeated the final Night Lord boss. He will add in some new relics to his shop too, including possibly the most powerful one in the game, which gives you the Bloodborne rally mechanic, meaning the ability to heal from doing damage after you get hit, which is of course just extremely strong in this game for some pretty obvious reasons. So one source of strong relics is this vendor, and after you achieve various milestones, you'll want to check in and see if his stock is updated at all. As well, through him you will have the random roll relic option at the bottom of this list as well. For 600 runes, you can just get a totally random relic. This essentially rolls one relic like the same way you would at the end of an expedition run, and this could be any collection of effects from the pool of options. You could get 1 effect, you could get 3 effects, you could get 2 effects, anything is possible. You can do up to 10 of these trade-ins in one go, and they have varying results, as again, it is fully random for these ones, but you can get ones through RNG that are actually better than the best of these set relic options. It's just, of course, much harder to do so, and would take much longer to actually achieve for most players. That said, there is a system that allows you to lean into this even further, as at the Relic Rite station, if you go all the way over to the final tab on the list, instead of selecting relics for a specific character, you will find the Sell tab. Here you can select any relics that you don't ever intend to use, and to be completely clear, after your first few expeditions, you will probably have plenty of relics you don't actually want to use, so you can select them here and then sell them for a small pile of runes. You can then use that pile of runes to go randomly roll a bunch of new relics through the Jar Bazaar and then repeat the process, by which I mean you can just go and sell all of the new relics that you got that you also might not plan on using. That said, before you go and spend all of your runes on this system, it is worth mentioning that they are also used as a currency to unlock gestures. They're also used for vessel unlocks as well. They're used for some chalices, and most importantly for the fashion connoisseurs, runes are also used for character skin unlocks in the game, so if you want any of that stuff, maybe don't spend all of your runes on cycling relics like this, but otherwise it is a great way to spend your runes in exchange for a potential permanent power increase. The other main methods of getting good set relics then are through remembrances. These are something you access through the journal entries after successful runs with a character unlocks more journal entries, and you will generally get one special relic unique to each character early in the remembrances. Then you'll get the chalice for the characters, which are the sets of colors that you can fill with different relics, and then one more unique relic at the end of the remembrances too. These unique relics always have the same stats on them. Some are great, some are alright, but this is a good thing to keep up with if you are playing one singular character quite a lot. The other main source of fully good set powerful relics is from, well, defeating Night Lords. Every Night Lord has a specific relic that it will drop for you the first time that you defeat them. All of them are at least alright, if a bit niche, but some of them are straight up ridiculously good. That said, let's start getting into the specifics for relics, as well most of them are randomly rolled. There are, again, the grouping of ones with set effects, and knowing how to get the ones that are really strong from that pool is quite useful. Knight of the Beast drops from Gladius the first time that you beat him, the first expedition Night Lord, and this gives you stamina recovered with each attack. And because of the way that stamina works in this game, that means if you hit something with a fast hitting melee weapon, you will get your stamina back and be able to keep hitting them with the fast hitting melee weapon. As well, it makes your starting weapon have fire damage, and that's great for any fire weak Night Lords, which there are a few of. You can then just upgrade your starting weapon a couple of times so it's nice and purple, and it has a big meaty high scaling fire weapon for you that works with your character. Knight of the Wise is rewarded for defeating the third Night Lord on the list, the Scorpion Moth, and this gives you increased maximum FP. It makes your starting weapon have poison buildup on it, which is good in general, and it also gives you increased attack power when poison or rot is triggered nearby. So this is an awesome one right at the start of an expedition, especially if all 3 members of your party are using it, because then if only one of you triggers a poison, all 3 of you get attack boosts. Then the old Pocket Watch is quite solid generally. This one you have drop at the end of an expedition through RNG. I've heard most people say that they get this drop within 5 expeditions. I got mine on our first expedition, which we succeeded at. We defeated the Night Lord, so there is a chance that winning makes this a guaranteed drop even earlier, but you do get this one quite early guaranteed regardless. This gives FP restoration on successive attacks, which is great for anyone planning on using FP regularly, and then dexterity +3, which is great for a few specific characters as well. Knight of the Fathom is the relic that is rewarded for beating the Augur Night Lord for the first time, and this one is great for survivability for your entire party. Being increased maximum HP, Flask also heals allies, and then item confer effects to all nearby allies. This means if all 3 party members have this same relic on, anytime any one of you drinks a flask, you will all heal each other. Anytime any one of you uses an item, you will all get the effect. This won't boost your damage, but especially in a coordinated group, this can be super powerful. And then the final unique one that I want to talk about being good for pretty much everyone is this specific Grand Tranquil Stone. This is the one that is unlocked in the Jar Bazaar for purchase after you've defeated the proper final Night Lord. And this one is insane for any melee character, as it just means if you get hit and you hit back, you regenerate the health. The bonus vigor and bonus poise just make that even easier to work around, but the main effect is that first line on it. That said, with that, I want to talk about some more specific recommendations for the different characters. That specific Grand Tranquil Stone we just talked about applies to any character that you plan on using a melee weapon with, as the restoration of health requires melee hits to trigger. But it is pretty much the strongest singular relic that exists, and for nearly every character, you'd want to pair it with the Knight of the Beast that we just talked about as well, for the stamina regen part of that on attack, as that means you can permanently keep attacking, healing any damage that you take while doing so because of the other relic combined with it. For Wilder specifically, he has some character-specific relics that give him a follow-up attack with greatswords after his character skill, and if you're planning to use greatswords, that can be quite solid. Or his relic that unlocks in the shop after you've defeated 4 Night Lords gives bonus strength, dexterity, and also makes his ultimate art leave fire in an area for more damage and more AoE damage in general. For Guardian, you absolutely want to grab his shop-specific set relic that pops up after your 4th Night Lord kill, as this is when Guardian really sort of becomes what he is meant to be. This makes him reflect a portion of the damage received when guarding, and with this you finally make it viable to become a very heavily guard-focused character, as usually the issue with guarding all the time is that you aren't attacking while you do it, but this makes it just also do damage while you're taking the enemy's attention and keeping it off of the group. This is also paired well with any relic that makes enemies look at you while guarding as well. And then for Iron Eye, he has the Edge of Order specific relic. This gives him increased bow attack power. This is a super rare effect. It's quite potent for this character if you plan on using bows, and the rest of the effects are just a bonus on top. You get this one from Chapter 6 of Iron Eye's journal with his remembrance quest in there. For the Duchess, it's pretty simple. The standard really strong melee options apply to her as well, and they're all great for her, but she also has the Crown Medal relic. This is unlocked after the Chapter 6 remembrance quest for the character, and it is quite strong. It makes it so when she does a full light attack chain, she triggers a slightly weaker version of her reprise effect, the character skill, and this does not activate the cooldown. So basically, you have your normal character skill that you can use as usual whenever you want, but this makes you pop extra mini versions of it whenever you do a full light attack combo, which just adds up to a ton of extra damage potential across a run. For the Raider, the only character-specific one that I really like is the Torn Braided Cord. This comes from his first Remembrance quest fight, so you can get it super early on, and the main effect is damage taken while using character skill, improves attack power and stamina, and then strength +3 as a bonus. The way that Raider's skill works is essentially as a counter or a parry anyways, so damage taken is the goal regardless. But the damage boost affects not only the skill damage itself, but it also applies a buff to Raider as a whole for a while afterwards. Not to mention the improved stamina part just means that it refills your stamina bar instantly if you do this. So what you can do is do a full light attack chain combo, then activate this skill when you have just a little bit of stamina, and if you time it correctly with an enemy attack, you will have full stamina, the enemy will flinch, and then you can do a full combo again instantly. As well, this also has some bonus strength, which is your best offensive stat anyways. For Revenant, she has the small makeup brush Relic, which is from her Chapter 1 Remembrance quest, super easy to complete, and this gives you increased power while fighting alongside your family. This means bonus damage while your summons are out, and then it also gives increased rune acquisition for self and allies, and that is the really big one there. Right now, one of the most inconsistent parts of an expedition is getting to level 15 as a full party. If you are running with your set group of 3 people, if you're running synergistic characters, if you've got communication and strats and stuff like that, and you go at it quickly and efficiently, it is totally doable to be level 15. But most runs do not end that way for most players, at least, in your first early starting stages. In those situations, this relic can easily get you 1 level closer to that maximum power, and your allies as well, which is a pretty big deal. It's also worth noting, interestingly, that the Knight of the Fathom, or any of the other relics that has Flask also heal allies as an effect on it, seems to affect the summons for Revenant, so that's a fun little extra synergy too. Then we have the Recluse, who has a couple of quite strong unique remembrance relics. The Vestige of Night is unlocked after the Chapter 4 Remembrance quest for the character, and this gives you Terra Magica, spawning any time that you collect an affinity residue, along with magic attack power up +2. This is, of course, awesome for the Recluse, especially if you lean more towards using sorceries and incantations with the character, as this is just an easy way to get significantly increased magic damage. It's super impactful. Then the other one is the Bone-like Stone. This comes from the Chapter 6 Remembrance quest for the character, and this raises maximum HP after using your ultimate. It makes you suffer blood loss when you activate your ultimate, but then also increases attack power when this happens too. Then you also get +3 intelligence, so overall, the main good effect from this is more damage while ultimate is active and a good chunk of bonus int. Then finally, for the Executor, his only specific unique relic that I think is really worth it is the Grand Burning Scene that you can purchase from the Jar Bazaar after your 4th Night Lord defeated, which makes it so you restore HP when roaring while your ultimate art is active. This is the guard input while you're in wolf mode, and this just gives you a free way to use your ultimate for healing on the character, but then also +2 dexterity and +2 arcane are absolutely decent effects for him. But generally speaking, this is just sort of an above average relic, not an insane one, so on Executor, I much prefer the more generic strong relics, and then of course you have the potential of randomly rolling something that is obscene for him too. Past that, one final note is the concept of the vessels as well. These are the things that you pick on each character, which decide the amount of each color slots that you get for your relics. There is one that's available as a default for each character, some of them unlock through remembrances, some of them are purchased through the Jar Bazaar, and as you beat up more and more Night Lords, you will unlock more options for purchasing at the Bazaar as well. And importantly, some of these ones aren't even character specific, like the Spirit Shelter Grail and any of the Grail specific options are actually really quite good and applicable to all characters. The Spirit Shelter Grail specifically, which you can unlock after defeating the Scorpion Moth boss, the 3rd Night Lord, this one is just 3 green slots. It can be used on any character, and if you have 3 good green slot relics, then this is exactly what you want. And then just for the sake of completion, you can also save presets for your relics as well, and there are 20 preset slots that you can set up, which are shared between the different Nightfarers. That just about does it for today then everyone, a deep dive into relics and the relic system, how to get the best relics, the most relics, and which ones I generally recommend seeking out for each of the different Nightfarers. I hope you've all enjoyed this, and hopefully it helps you out in your future expeditions. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.